Okay, so yeah, for a reflective learning piece, I'm deciding to show a couple things that I've learned and how I'm applying them and how they're basically making my life a little easier. So I'm just gonna start by sharing my screen. So working on estimating right now. It's after after interim 2, and I basically went through the entire concrete model and gave everything data. I wasn't entirely sure how much this was going to benefit me, in the next coming weeks, but it has significantly helped with my estimating. And the most significant thing was the type mark that I added to everything. Although this other data is very useful, I'm using these type marks the most. And how I went about type marking was I made a schedule. Obviously, you go to view or view, and you make a schedule, and then you choose what you want to make a schedule. Basically, the entire concrete model is in a schedule, and I put type marks to everything. Some of them are just actually like in the schedules inside the drawings we have, and some of them aren't. But for the most part, I tried to keep their system. So like W being west wing, which is the building, B being a beam, 2 being the level it's on. And something that I found really useful is to split my screen, having a 3D view open. You can grab things in the schedule, kind of like you do in a tree in Navisworks. And when you go over here, it shows what you are selected, where they are, and help me understand how to type mark them. So basically, schedules have been a huge thing for me so far. And something I had to learn on my own was how to export these. I think it's useful. So that's not what I want to push. Showing you how to do it is you basically have your schedule open. You go to export, you go down here until reports, and then you see schedule. And then this opens up another screen. And it just says, where do I want to save the schedule? But you can see that it's saving as a text document. So it's not like an Excel thing. And if you open it up, it's not useful at all. Let's just say that. When you're saving it, I'm just going to replace it for the purposes of this. It's going to ask, the main thing we want to look at here is the delimiter. This is the most important thing. And you can change this to something else, but it doesn't really matter. Just keep it at tab because that's kind of like the default option. So I think I'm just not going to save this. Oh, sure. So this is basically Revit getting it into Excel now. So I'm just going to grab my documents. I'm going to go open. I'm going to go find where I saved that, which was concrete schedules, and it doesn't matter which one. I forget which one I had there. Was it structural foundations potentially? And so you can see I've already made the Excel file, so I'm just showing you here. Open that text, and it's already done. So that didn't work the way I wanted it to. But anyway, what it's going to do is it's going to come up a pop-up. You have to push next a couple times to make sure you do this delimited. That's not exactly how I envisioned this going. I should show how that works, just in case. Shoot. This is going terribly wrong. Terribly wrong. File, open, browse. I thought I did the structural schedule. Let's just go date. Okay, must have been this one. Open. There. Now it's doing this delimited. Don't go fixed with, and it goes through all this stuff. You don't need to really click anything. You can see here things aren't looking very good, but you go next, and then it takes this delimiters tab, and now it's kind of separated it all into their columns. The only thing we need to do is push next and finish, and it'll generate this schedule. Obviously, we need to open all these up to see what's in there. Another thing that happens when you do this is these are all still text and isn't considered a number. So what I had to do is I went to the cell next to it. I said left, so it's going to grab equals the left cell here. And then you put a number 4, and this is how much it brings over from the left, basically, I guess the decimal or what it's bringing over. So it's going to bring over 4.57. If I put like a 6 here, it's going to show the M, and then it's going to be hard. Then it doesn't like to calculate the number. So anyway, we've got to drag this all the way down for the entire process. This is I chose a big one. So obviously those fill out, but these still aren't good. You can't make them, can't calculate them. So I went to Control Copy that whole thing. I didn't unclick it. I just had it all selected still. So then it's all copied now. I go to the top and I push right click. And I want to paste it as a values. So now they're all values, but they still are text. And so we need to convert this as a stored text to convert to a number. So now it's going to boom, do this, and everything now is going to be a number that we can calculate. So what I was doing, I would grab the whole piece, just for example here. Now I know my areas, so to speak, or volume, so to speak, which I've used in my estimating. Now I'll show you the estimating itself. And I have my schedules open to help me. But obviously here I used meters cubed, so I did calculate. I used the schedules that I printed, but for my piles, we're in a little different situation because it's not using the volume, it's using the length, and we're getting that from RS means. So for piles, which they're calling caisson piles here, the units are in meters. So it's not using, obviously, volume. So in order to get my numbers, I have to use assemble, which I already have set up, which I'm not going to show right now. But basically, this is set up with our models through assemble. And so how I'm getting these numbers is, for instance, I've got this one set up. This is just for showing you, but the next one is WP06A, which is this guy here. So we know that the pile's diameter is 1200, and then the bell's 3600, which is the same as the last one. So I can just essentially copy this down. Copy this. Actually, I don't. I need to move this down. Control Z that. All right, second. Insert another row here. There we go. Control V. Okay. Yelling at me. Copy. Control V. Copy. Okay. So I've already set up the first one here. And what I've done is gone and looked in assemble for the pile lengths. Actually, no, I'll just show that. So I have to go to map quantities. I chose pile length here. Oh, I guess it reset that. Pile length, pile length. Pile length. And what are we looking for pile length? I'm looking for type mark, because since I have all my type marks set up, like I was talking about previously, that's how I'm finding all my stuff. I'm looking for WP06A. Add, save. And then, so it's all there. We just need to get it to calculate it. So this is the pile length. And if we look at RS means here, yeah, this is all fine, but the problem is it has a different calculation for the bell. And in our file, we have everything together, the shaft of the bell or shaft of the pile and the bell of the pile. So we need to separate that. So now we have the total lengths of all the piles in the project is what we just did there. Now we need to find all the bell lengths of those piles. So, or bell depths, I think is what they say. Is how it's, yeah, bell depth. So we need to subtract that from our pile length. So same thing, we're going to go find type mark. WP06A. Add, save, calculate. As for our numbers, these are also generated from RS means, and we're using the total overhead and profit because we're subcontracting out. And so the numbers that I have, I already have put in here that I can copy, but this is where they're coming from. So the overhead and profit is what we're using. So since we already know those numbers because the previous pile was exactly the same, basically, I think maybe just the rebar in them changes. I can copy these down as well for a little easier. And so for this, it's going to equal, we need to make a bracket here. It's going to equal our pile lengths for that specific pile. We're going to subtract the bell depths of all those piles. Close this up, and we're going to times that by the cost. Now we have the cost of that pile without the bell. Now we need to do the same for the bell, and the thing about the bell, it's not by length, it is by just the item itself. So you can see each here. So meters was for the bell itself, and then for the bell, excavation and concrete, it's per bell. So I just need to do a count. So I can use assemble to count. Although I could count it here, maybe there are going to be some instances where I don't have everything on a spreadsheet for myself to look at. So I can go to count, and same thing. We're going to be looking for type mark. It's going to be what I'm trying to do in all my estimating is use type marks because it's very easy to quantify things. As long as it's set up, the process is setting it all up. So we're going to count all of our piles, or our bells, which is essentially our piles, same thing. And so we can see that it should generate 2. Because I have 2 here in my schedule generated for our project. It's going to be a fail here if this isn't a 2. It is perfect. So then I go equals this times that, and that is our bell. And you can notice our bell is much more expensive than the actual shaft, and that's why they have it separated. So this is me just showing you a little bit of assemble and how I am using Excel and printed some things to Excel and how I'm going about my estimating right now. So that's my reflective learning 1, I guess. Hopefully I have a couple more of these. Thank you.